Hi there, I'm Karen McCarthy and it's time to Karen-ize. Today's Friday, that's when we do some crafting, and today I wanted to show you how you can take a garage sale find frame that I found and turn it into a really cool and unique gift for a friend. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you to my subscribers. I appreciate so much what you're doing to help my channel get going. And when you do the thumbs up and the comments and shares, it just helps so much. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you join our little online family and let me know where you're from. I would love to hear from you guys. So if you can make comments about what's going on, give me suggestions, things that you've tried similar or whatever. Tell me where you're from, what you like to do. I love to hear from you guys. So my camera is slowly going down, so I think it's time to stop and get into the project. So the first part of my video was not recording. So I had a frame that was black, looked like this, and I just scuffed it up. Oops, I just got paint all over me. Scuffed it up a bit with some sandpaper because it was a pretty glossy surface. And then this is going to be a gift for a friend, and it's got a sea theme. So I wanted a kind of texture on the frame itself. So I'm using one of these sponge brushes. Whoops, I can't get paint on it. And I'm just tapping it on to give it a little bit of texture. And I just keep going back and forth until I get it to the texture that I want. And it definitely needed 2 coats just to cover that black. So here's the second coat. Now, I have not tried it, but I know that you can add, is it baking soda, I think, to paint to give it kind of a stone texture. And I want to try that next time, but I just didn't want to take the time to experiment with a new technique, I guess, on this gift, because I need to get it done pretty quickly because she is leaving town, moving actually. So I'm not doing the back or the inside, just what's going to show. Just because some of it's going to be hard to sand. And if it's not going to show, I know she's not going to care, and I don't care. If I was selling it, of course, I would finish all surfaces, but I'm getting paint all over myself, which is par for the course. I'm trying to hold this down so it's not so, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put that aside to dry, and then I'm going to do the sides later. So where shall I put it? Here we go. Then let me show you the picture. The picture that's going to go in the frame is this seahorse. Let me see if I'm in frame so you can see it. She loves seahorses, and I got this little, what did I do with it? This little silicone mold from Temu the other day. She was there when I opened it, and she's like, oh, you have to make me something. I love seahorses. And I was like, ah, good to know, because now I know what I can do for a goodbye present. So I made some of the little seahorses. I just used super glue. A lot of times I use clay, but this has such tiny little spots that sometimes it doesn't work as well to do clay with the tiniest of them. And now I have no idea what color this is. I think I wrote it on the lid. It's called Antique Gold, but I don't know or what brand it is or anything like that. I've had it for a very long time, and I'm just painting. There's this version of the seahorse and then this little baby one. Oops, I left my paintbrush sitting here and it dried out. Let me grab something else. If you do that, you don't have to throw your paintbrush away. Put it in some Dawn dish soap liquid. Can't remember which one it is, if it's all of them or just the one. And just let it soak. I had one that I thought I had totally ruined, and it took a while. I soaked it and then got as much off as I could because it was, I think it was Mod Podge that had dried on it. So it's like glue. And I just kept doing it, and the other day I came back and it was good as new. So that's good to know because I hate it when I ruin one of my favorite paintbrushes. So I'm just going to paint this, and then I'll show you what I have 2 more to paint. I'm actually making one of these for 2 different friends, both of whom like the ocean. So I made one of each of the I almost said sawhorse, seahorse. Okay, so I'll finish painting the other ones later. This one is dry, so I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Make sure I don't have any wet paint on my hands. Let me grab. If you've watched my videos, you've seen these before. I love these Distress Oxide, what do you call it? Ink pads, I guess. I'm gonna try that color first, and it is Rusty Hinge. I'm just going to go over, no, that is, I don't know if you can see, it's just making it look kind of orange, so I'm just going to wipe that off. And I am going to go with my standby. I usually end up using Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to rub it over and see how it's just giving it some highlights. And some of them it's not hitting very well because it's so tiny. So I'm going to put it on my finger and just rub it over all of the raised portions. It just gives it a little distressing, and it kind of matches, if you remember the picture. It's kind of how the seahorse is in the picture. Need to get a little bit more on the tail. The fin is not taking it as well. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. Turned out pretty well, I think. I almost did it on this one. I would have had paint all over my hands. Okay, so I'm going to put this, actually let me get some water and put oh, I have water in this. Put this paintbrush in the water so that it doesn't dry up like the other one did. And I'm going to move all of this out of the way and show you the next step. I work on different steps all the time because I have to wait for things to dry. So I have gone to my Cricut. I'll show you, let's see, I have two of the frames. Let me get the frame that I didn't just paint. I gotta move the wet paint out of the way or I'm gonna get it all over, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. And I haven't cleaned up the glass or anything. This is a frame that I got from a garage sale. But it has this really cool mat. I guess it's a mat, it's wooden. And it's going to be like this. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to leave this that color. But I'm going to put sawhorse, yeah, I know I do it. The seahorse up here, and I'm not sure what I'm doing with the little one. And then I'm going to have words across the bottom that say, "Our friendship is deeper than the sea." And that way, I was going to make me one too, but I only had 2 frames, so I will just know. We're like a tres amigas. And so just something for us to remember each other by. So, okay, if you haven't done Cricut before, now you could make this with little stickers also. I got some vinyl that was off of Amazon a couple years ago when I first started using my machine. It was not the Cricut brand, and I don't even remember what brand it was, but I'll tell you, when you go to peel this off, watch what happens here. The design stays on. With this other stuff, the design comes off too. And it is a real pain to try to take each letter off separately. I might as well just get, sticky letters from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just peeling off the main portion. I'm just going to put it here. And then you just weed out all of these little areas. I love this font. Come on. Sorry, my craft room's in the basement and there's no heat down here, so I have a little space heater, and all of a sudden it will just like start feeling like it's burning me. So I had to turn it off. All right, so I'm just gonna take out all of these. I'm just gonna stick them. I don't know, easier said than done. I should have brought my little, I have one of those things that you can hold a nail polish bottle in. I stick it in my, uh-oh, what happened to the E? That is no E. Oh, it's still on there. All right, I'm glad I noticed that. Anyway, I put one of those on between my fingers, and it catches all of the, oh, this is not working. What happened? Maybe the E is gone. Where did it go? Oh man. See if it's sticking on here somewhere. I thought it was still there, but it's not. Well, I may have to go just print up an E and stick it in there. I wasn't being careful when I pulled it up. Well, I'm just gonna stick these on my fingernail and take them off later. Or something. Come on. This I used on my Cricut Joy. I have an Air Explorer, Air 2, I think it's called, the bigger one. And then I found this Cricut Joy at a pawn shop. It was such a good deal. I thought, ah. And I'm so glad that I did, because when you're just doing little things like this, super easy to do on the Joy. And I've got smart vinyl, so I don't have to get my mat out or anything. I think the new Explorer 3s don't need a mat, but there's no sense getting one when mine Air 2 is working perfectly fine. But if you're looking to get one, I would go for the newest one, because you don't have to have the mats. That's just one less thing to have to store. One less step that you have to do. There we go. Now I gotta get all of this off my fingers. So the next thing you do is put what we call transfer tape on it. And, you know, don't worry if the transfer tape gets frustrating, because I don't know, maybe people edit out the parts of their videos where they're having trouble getting it to go from the transfer tape onto the surface. I don't know. I always seem to have a little bit of trouble. It just depends. Sometimes it goes really slick and other times not so much. For this one, I'm just gonna leave that there. It's going to be on that wood surface rather than a painted surface. So when I have a painted surface, I use this special transfer tape that I got online from Expressions Vinyl, because the regular transfer tape, at least for me, always seems to peel up the paint. And so this stuff, it sticks to the words, but not as much to the painted surface, so it doesn't peel it up. But, so anyway, it's going to say our friendship is deeper than the sea, after I get that other E. And now we're just waiting for paint to dry, so I will be back soon when that's done. All right, so I am back. The frame is dry, and I just wanted to do some distressing around the edges. So I am just going to do this. These ink pads are so great for this, make it so easy. You can put as much or as little as you want. I think I want to do a little bit more there. I need to get a black one, because I love doing, you know, painting something white and then doing the black to make it look like enamel cookware. And it would be so much easier with a black ink pad. Now I'm going to put a seahorse at the top and bottom opposite corners. Those little ones that I made from that mold. Okay, that's enough of that. Did I get any on my hands? Wow, amazing. Okay, so I decided to paint the mat. Just put a base coat down. What I'm going to do now, oh, I put a base coat down and then I put some crackle medium on. You have to let each layer dry completely. I don't know if I'm in frame. Yeah, I am. Okay. You let each layer dry completely before you put the next one on. And now I had a little paint tray. Let me grab one real quick. Took that over to the sink and washed it. So And that means that I took my brush over there too. Let me see about another brush right here. Oh, just a teeny weeny one, so I'll be right back. Okay, sometimes the crackle effect starts right away and sometimes it takes a few minutes, so we'll see. I'm just going to paint a coat on here. It doesn't have to be super thick or anything like that, because it's going to start doing a crackle like an aged effect. I'll show you. I did another one, and I will show that to you so you can see what it's going to look like. I mean, you'll see the finished product at the end of the video anyway, but we'll give you a sneak peek. So this is what it does. Gives you that aged look. Isn't that cool? I really like that. I think I want a little bit more. Whoops. I better not mess with it because it's going to mess up the crackle. I just don't want those brush strokes right there. There we go. All right, I'm going to put my extra paint back in the jar. Real quick. And I'm probably not going to, I was going to show you, I'm just going to cut this. Actually, no, because I want to cut it the same size as the outside of the mat, and I don't want to do that while the mat is drying. So what I do is I take the mat, put it over the picture, and then just trace around it so it's going to fit inside that picture frame really well. And then we will do the last step, and that is I printed this, Our Friendship is Deeper Than the Sea. Let me show you. I can move this and I'll show you this if you have never done Cricut before. So I ran it off, and then you're going to peel off. This is trying to curl, which is not very convenient. You want to go sort of slow because every once in a while one of the letters, like that letter, it just tried to stay. So I'm going to have to try to get that off without messing it up. Oh dear. I hate it when it does that. It's because this design is so tiny. It's very, very small. There's the E is still. Well, I'm going to have to get the E off when I'm done. And then try to stick it back on there. I don't want to mess that part up because then I won't be able to find the E. There we go. All right, now let me find that E. It's very sticky. Let's see if I can get that E up without messing it up. Very fragile design. There we go. How about that? All right, now I'm going to grab it and put it where it belongs. Try to get it. There we go. Okay, and then you're going to weed out, they call it weeding. This is a weeding tool. All these little extra places. And try not to touch it because I don't want to lift up any of these letters accidentally. Get that little piece. I usually do designs that are much bigger, but I wanted it to be on this. Like I think I said before, this is going to be a gift for a friend who's moving, and it's a necessary move, but she is struggling with leaving her friends. So we're gonna give this little reminder to her. Ah, come on. Trying to be really careful to get just the part I want to weed and not move the letter. Come on. Oh, don't move that R. There we go. Just a couple more. Reading can be kind of fun if it's a bigger project. This one's, there we go. Okay. So then the next thing you do, and we won't be able to finish it all because I'm going to put this, I ended up putting it on the glass itself because I couldn't get it to work with the other transfer tape so that I could put it on the the mat. I'm not coming up with words today. All right, so this is transfer tape, and it's kind of like that clear contact paper. In fact, I bet you could probably use clear contact paper. I don't know, I've never tried it. All right, so I'm just gonna cut a piece big enough to cover that. Excuse me. That just wants, it's because the vinyl comes in a roll and this just keeps wanting to keep rolling. Okay, so then I'm going to peel the transfer tape off of the backing. That's sometimes the hardest part, is getting that getting it to, you know, like the plastic bags in the vegetable section of the supermarket, how you can't get them open sometimes? Well, that's kind of what happens here. Come on. Oh, I got a tickle in my throat. I'm sorry. Well, my goodness. Let me use this, see if I can get it with this. Sometimes it's super easy, and other times... Whoops, I almost had it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to peel that up, and then I'm going to put it right on top of this. Ah! Try to do it straight. It'd be just my luck that all the letters would come off when I was putting it on wrong. Okay, there we go. And then I don't have my little tool. Oh yeah, I do. No, that's the one that has glue all over it. So they have a little tool. You can get them at Dollar Tree too. They look like this. Oh, that one's pretty clean. I a lot of times get glue all over the ones that are here. And you just, I usually have to go quite a few times because it's supposed to have the letters stick to it, and then you just transfer that over to the surface that you're doing. But I am not going to peel it up right now because we're waiting for the mat to dry before we can put everything together, and then I will put this on last. But I did want to show that to you while I had it here. So I'm going to turn it off. We're going to wait for everything to dry, and then we'll assemble. Okay, so we are ready to, I want to get the picture exactly where I want it, and then cut around this. And then we can put everything together. Oh, I unplugged my glue gun. Let me plug that in so we can glue the seahorses on. Oops. Okay, get that heating up again. Now, get my glass without hurting myself. Everything assembled. I got stuff all over it. Okay, let me make sure it's right. Whoop. Everything wants to curl today. There we go. Put those little doohickeys down. Turn them over. Okay, while we're waiting for that glue gun to heat up, let's see if this is going to peel up or if I've got to scrub on it some more. Okay, so I always peel kind of slowly because see there, that S didn't stick. Sometimes a fingernail is enough. There we go. Oh, now that H. Yeah, I don't know why I have, I mean, some people, I watch people do videos and either they're editing out all of this stuff or they don't have as much trouble. And sometimes, I don't know if it's got anything to do with like humidity or temperature, but my basement is usually pretty consistent. So it shouldn't be that. There we go. Oh, that was so much better. Now I've got it stuck to my finger. Oh no. Look at that. Oh, no. Am I out of frame? I am so sorry. If you weren't seeing any of that. Oh, goodness. Okay, now I'm going to have to fix that and hope that nothing... Oh, it still wants to come up. Urgh. I will say that it's not... I don't usually have this much trouble. I've got one of the legs of the H folded over, and I don't know how to get it. It looks like a 4. I'm going to have to take my... I'm so nearsighted. My glasses, when I'm doing something really close, are too blurry. So, oh dear, let me see here. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. You don't need to watch me do this, and I will be right back. Okay, I finally got that H on there. Boy, that was a pain. I thought I wasn't going to get that one leg up, but all of a sudden it just came up. So now I'm going to just, I don't know if you want to say center because it's going to take up most of the space. I just want to get it straight. Put it right there on the glass. I did not want to do that just in case they wanted to use this for something else, but I guess they could always peel the letters off. And usually this part goes pretty well because it sticks really easily to that glass. There we go. Wow, that was something. Okay, make sure I'm still keeping this in frame, and we'll get our little seahorses and put some hot glue on the back. My poor little dog. He doesn't like to go to bed unless I go to bed. He's been staring at me and watching me like, please, can we go to bed? Because it's like pretty late. He finally decided to give up, and he's laying on his little blankie next to me. But he's still looking at me quite reproachfully. Is that a word? All right, there we go. Number 2 done. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.